My name is Joanna Esparza and I am with She Became.
I'm Augusta Farley and I'm with Westside Animals for Adoption in Patterson, California. But we work in all of Stanislaus County.
My name is Amy Pezzoni. I'm currently with Enox High School in Modesto City Schools District.
What inspired me with my work was really the need and the feeling of growing up as a teenager and not knowing my self-worth, who I was, and craving to have a mentor or a positive influence in my life. After my second child, I felt this calling, I felt this void that I needed to give back to my community. And all I can think about is those teenage years, not knowing who I was and really thinking about what teenagers needed.
Well, I have a lot of people that inspired me. Of course, family, friends, employees, the community inspired me. I wouldn't be here without that support and without those people working together to achieve what we achieved. I also want to thank all the people that I have been in contact with who have taken advantage of some of our services, the veterinary care, the payment of impound fees, the distribution of food and supplies. They have taught me the depths of their joy and their grief in living with their pets and how important their pets are. I'm also indebted to the people who are much brighter than I am and have already seen the mission. I plagiarize and use them shamelessly in working in what I do. And then you cannot leave out the pets because the pets have been wonderful teachers. They've taught me a lot about connections and cooperation and of course humility. The cats especially have taught me a lot about humility.
So when I was a kid, I asked my dad, I said, I'm good at math and science, what should I do? And he mentioned that I had an uncle who was an electrical engineer, and I thought, okay, I'll do engineering. So I never really thought much about it. I had a dad that encouraged me, there was no doubt in his mind that I could accomplish anything that I wanted to. And I happened to actually be watching a State of the Union address where Obama reached out and said, you should be a teacher. And I thought, hey, yeah, I've always taught. I've tutored, taught, helped people. And here I could bring engineering into the classroom. How cool would that be? So that was my incentive to actually become a teacher. And that is what I do now. I ended up moving into computer science because it seemed like computer science was an easier way to introduce students into the world of engineering. Engineering was so broad, it was difficult to kind of find a way to hook. Even though I started an engineering class, I felt like computer science was the way to go. And I wanted to build on and help bring it to our area. So I brought computer science to the high school that I was at the time and had plans to create an entire computer science pathway. Unfortunately, I was unable to realize it at the school that I was at, and I found open arms with Enox High School, thanks to Amanda Moore, who saw my vision and is already wanting to do this work. It was just a perfect match.
A lot of the challenges that came with starting a nonprofit at such a young age was really not knowing how to and really having to build trust in the community. What kept me going was the motivation to know that behind the work that I did, someone's life was being changed. I had a lot of faith in myself. I wanted to prove others wrong. And reality is that with hard work, dedication, and knowing why you're doing what you're doing and who is behind your work is really going to give you motivation to never give up, to keep on going, and to find the strength within yourself to make a difference in others' lives.
So as a woman in the community, I actually started in New Mexico working at a sexual assault prosecution and treatment program first with the county and then with the state. And so I've always been very involved with women's issues and moved here. And of course, some of the work that I'm doing now in the community involves the same thing, but it adds their pets, it adds the animals. And probably the biggest challenge for me has been in business. I never grew up thinking I was going to be in business. I thought I was going to be a teacher, or a mom or something and didn't prepare myself. But I've been very lucky to have had support both from this community, from family and friends, that I've somehow survived, been lucky, had some opportunity, had some experience and skills that has made it work.
So challenges are in every path that people take. A lot of times you see very accomplished people, people who have done amazing things or things that you think you might want to do, and it all looks so easy. You're seeing the end result. What you don't necessarily see is a lot of the blood and the sweat and the tears that go into doing what you're trying to do. Being passionate about something and talking about it all the time might ruffle a few feathers. It might be you're trying to do something in an area or an industry that is resistant to change. Education's no exception. Computer science is a core, high-need course that is designated neither core nor high-need. So having to forge your own path, having to be an advocate for your own passions is some of the challenges that I faced.
My advice to anyone looking at this video today, if you are wanting to give back to your community, I encourage you to just take the first step. Get your feet wet. Go to those organizations that you have a desire to help, whether it's maybe a senior community or homeless or giving back to your youth. There's plenty of ways where you can give back, where your talent is much needed, and don't be afraid. And do it afraid if you are afraid.
One of the first things is probably to embrace the concept of others, because without understanding everybody out there, without being accepting of everybody, we're not going to solve the problem together, because it takes a village to do everything. And one of the missions that we have, of course, in strengthening the human-animal bond, has taken the philosophy of One Health. And One Health means that if you keep people healthy, keep the animals healthy, and of course we're in a coronavirus state right now, so keeping animals healthy is very important, and you keep the environment healthy, all three of those things interlink, and that is super important. The other thing I might recommend is that if you are in business, to use your business as a platform to do social good. It's super important that businesses are not just there to take from the community, but we all will do better if we involve the community in some way or the other.
So computer science might seem like it's male dominated, but I'll tell you what, a lot of the computer science work being done by women is actually not being done in the computer science industry. They are doing computer science, but they are doing it in other industries. So you find the industry that's right for you, whether it's sports, whether it's fashion, whether it's health, you want to go into business, any of those fields will benefit from an understanding of technology. Even just the fundamental introductory course will give you an advantage over other students who have no idea technology works and thinks it's magic. I recommend you take a class, take an introductory computer science class, but don't take it alone. Invite a bunch of your friends. Computer science, very social in industry. All industries, tech industries, non-tech industries, when people are doing computer science, they are doing it together. They are doing it collaboratively. Computer science is being used to help all kinds of fields. There's advances being made in medicine and science and politics and history and English even, all because of technology, and you can be a part of that too.